Patriots play the Titans this weekend, Mike Hamilton's Titans, and have a real chance to win because they're facing the Titans, even though it's in Nashville. But the question this week has, of course, been whether they're going to have their quarterback or not. Drake Maye takes that hit against the Jets last week, concussion protocol, limited in practice, but there's looking like more and more momentum that he is going to play. We didn't really talk about this because we had a loaded week, but I do want to take a look at the hit that got Drake Maye injured. We have that clip here. So he's going into his slide, and it's going to look worse than it maybe is. So it goes down. It looks okay from that angle. You're going to get another angle here in a second that makes it look bad. But like Scotty, I never know with a quarterback going into his slide. It's very tough for these defenders who are already angling for a tackle. You'll get a little bit of a look here. It gets a little partially blocked. He's not leading with his helmet. It does end up being helmet to helmet, as you're going to see here, and this looks terrible, right? But it's bang, bang. I actually don't think it's as bad as it looks on that final angle. I don't think the guy got fined. It was no penalty. It's just kind of an unfortunate thing. And Drake Maye is sliding, so it's not. Should he have slid earlier when he took that first hit? Maybe, but it's not like the kid doesn't slide ever. So that is where we're hung up here as to whether he is going to play this week, because I know they pulled out the win against the Jets, who won last night, by the way. How about those Jets, man, bouncing back against Houston? I know you got by against the Jets with Jacoby Brissett, but that's not your long-term solution. Like, you don't need to crunch the numbers. You just watch the game, man. It is a completely different offense when Drake Maye is out there versus Jacoby Brissett. Much different in a good way. The difference is stark. Thank you. That's what we call a plug, Scotty. But Drake Maye is obviously the guy for this offense, and having Jacoby Brissett out there, it's like going back to the Stone Age. Mayo had some comment about, what the differences are. He's like, there's no difference schematically, but Drake Maye is like 2004 Michael Vick, and Jacoby Brissett is like that great pocket passer. And I'm like, well, I don't know if either of those things are true necessarily. Drake Maye is a great athlete, and he can get out there in space and run, and that's obviously the biggest difference. But Jacoby Brissett, great pocket passer.
Unless your name is Lamar Jackson, I don't know that I would be making any comparisons to Michael Vick ever.
Probably not. By the way, there's this new Netflix thing that's supposed to take place in high school in 2003. And it was like, this is what it looked like in 2003. I didn't watch the video, but someone quote tweeted it and goes, not enough backwards Michael Vick jerseys. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But even with Brissett back there, could we see a Jacoby Brissett, Mason Rudolph square off, tussle, square dancing this Sunday in Nashville? That would be awesome. Pete might get a shot to do that game. Not a slight at Pete, but they're going to go way down the totem pole here. Pete should inquire about that as to what Pete's better, by the way, than some of the CBS people that get thrown out there. This is I thought this Miami game a few weeks ago with Snoop Huntley versus Jacoby Brissett would be the worst football that we watched. It was pretty bad. This could be worse, because at least with Miami they have some good skill position players, right? They've got, they still got Waddle and Hill and some guys who can make plays on defense too. Emmanuel Ogbah is still making plays. That's a Big 12 blast from the past. Nashville. Tennessee does not have any of that. The Titans do not have any of that, and neither do the Patriots. This is probably the two least skilled teams in all of football, I think. Carolina still gets a shout, of course, but this is right up there with two of the least skilled teams in the entire NFL squaring off this Sunday. So my analysis is, if you have Drake Maye, they're going to win the game. If Drake Maye's playing this weekend, he's going to get his first career win as a starter. And he gets guys involved, man. Guys who don't really want the football. Our man Tyquan had one of the worst drops I've ever seen last week on a bad, beautiful, beautiful throw. When they do at the Baylor game, they do that Bears in the NFL, and they do like little highlights of all their guys who are in the NFL. That should be the Tyquan Thornton one. That is representative of his
That's
Patriots
cold,
time.
man.
That is
That
representative
is
of his
cold.
Patriots time. I know he can catch it. He made some great catches in his college days. But Drake Maye rolling out to the right, 40, 45 yards, right on the dot. Tyquan does the tough part. He boxes out his defender and is using the boundary to his advantage, and he doesn't catch it. Just says, nope. You could not have turned around and handed it off to a guy any better than that, and he fucking dropped it. Yes, if Drake Maye's playing, they're going to win this week. And this might be their last week without a couple of these guys. I think, the deadline's Monday or Tuesday. KJ Osborne, if you want him, come and get him. Kendrick Bourne, if you want him, probably come and get him. I like Kendrick for a lot of the time he's been here, but he's not cutting it anymore. Uche's already been sent away. Devon Godshaw, I'm tempted to just say come and get him. I know there's that thought of like Belichick would always keep some veteran guys he could have traded at certain points to kind of have that veteran presence in the locker room and have some sort of example for these guys. So that's what we're going to be looking at with Godshaw and Jonathan Jones and Kendrick Bourne. Like, is it enough for these guys, for this coaching staff, to keep some guys around and just be like, you know what, this is worth more to us than an extra 7th round pick, 6th round pick. Getting a 6th for Josh Uche, you should have got more. I'm sorry. I mean, you're talking about still a pretty damn good pass rusher for a team that has all kinds of capital and is very good in the Kansas City Chiefs. To get it that far away from the trade deadline and just get a 6th round pick, that's not good enough. It's not terrible business, but it's simply not good enough business. So yeah, we'll see. If Jacoby Brissett plays, I will be, rinsing my eyes out with acid again. But I got to give him the credit for. I mean, he led a legit game-winning drive against the Jets, man. Like that was not a fluke. I mean, fluky in the grand scheme of things of like, is he going to do that 2 weeks in a row? No, but it's not like, he was aided by something. He got a big play from Kayshon Boutte, man. Like, yeah, that was a legit drive. And a gutsy second half performance from Jacoby Brissett. But if we're talking about the rest of this season, of course it needs to be Drake Maye, which is why I'm wondering if they're going to be, a little tentative with Drake Maye. Like, let's just say he's clearing the test, but you're still like, something's not right here.
Well, and how much does like the Tua stuff affect that thought process, right?
I mean, it definitely could.
Because
like at the bottom line, he's the future of your franchise, and you're in a nothing season. So it's got to be a risk reward thing at some point. You want to play him as much as possible, but we also know how dangerous it can be to then get a hit in the head, right after a concussion.
I'm just thinking,
but that's why we have these tests. I know.
I'm just thinking in division, you've had Tua again with this concussion where it was just horrid to see on the field. And then you had a few weeks ago that Josh Allen play where he dinged his head and went back in the game and looked lost, and there were some questions. So those are 2 guys in division that have already dealt with this.
And Aaron Rodgers this season just looks like he's had a concussion. Who was that guy at Michigan like 6 or 8 years ago? I think it was the last year of Brady Hoke. Maybe it was Harbaugh. And he got lit up and got pretty dazed and confused and was having like a lot of trouble getting to the sideline, and he was out he was in there the next series. Do you remember that? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I don't.
It was like John O'Corn or somebody, and just got leveled and like literally like needed help getting to the sideline. Like he was about to fall over, and everyone watching is like, getting that pit in their stomach. And then he's back out there.
That's the scariest thing.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's like kind of if there's smoke, there's fire thing.
Mm-hmm.
He might have done okay on the tests, but we all just saw that. We all just saw a guy struggle to walk.
Right.
Like, don't put him back.
You can
out
remember
there.
your name, but you can't walk straight.
Ugh.
If an officer would not let you continue driving your vehicle,
you shouldn't be playing.
You probably
football.
shouldn't be taking hits in a football game. Oh
God, that's tough. That's tough. Anyway, if Drake Maye plays, the Patriots win. if Jacoby Brissett plays, they might still win. Tennessee also really sucks, but I'm sure they're saying that the other at some sports talk in Nashville, they're saying, well, we're 1-6, but the Patriots are coming into town. So I guess.